Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to August's Tea Talk. My lord, how is it August already? This is freaking crazy. It doesn't feel that long since I filmed July's Tea Talk, and I was probably talking in that about how excited I was for the summer, and now it's like August and everything that I'm seeing now is like geared for the fall time or autumn, and I'm like, that's my time to thrive, you guys. Anyway, it is a new month, and if you are new to the channel and you haven't seen one of my tea talks before, basically the first Tuesday in every month I dedicate to a tea talk, and my tea talk series is basically just a chatty series where I sit down, I answer your guys' questions. Sometimes they're more like topical, like I'll actually pick out specific topics and I'll talk about them. Sometimes they're just more Q&A based, which is what today's video is going to be. So let's get straight into it. Grab your tea and let's have the chats. Make sure to sound out in the comments if you have anything in specific that you'd like to say. I always love getting to chat to you guys down there after these tea talks. I find like they're the most interactive chat sessions afterwards, so hopefully in the near future we can do like a live or something like that, because I feel like that would be fun. But until then, let's get straight into the questions. Okay, I'm gonna keep my tea here because every time I do one of these I forget to actually drink it, so if I'm holding it in my hand, then I won't forget. Okay, let's start with an easy one. So Alexis_Reeves asked, you are stuck on a desert island and can only have 3 beauty items. What are they? Oh, good question. I don't think I've ever answered this one, and this is like a standard question that loads of people answer. I think I would go for an SPF because I would just like be very unhappy if I had like really bad sunburn. I would probably go for a mascara as well, and probably, oh, I would either do brows or a lip balm. Let's say that I had my brows done, like I had like microblading or something, so I'd go for a lip balm. So a lip balm, my mascara, and SPF. Delaney.Atkins on Instagram asked, oh, I just had a message come through. Any tips for living on your own? Love you and your vlogs. Thank you so much, girl. Honestly, I kind of find this question hard to answer because I feel like, and a couple of you have agreed when I've said this in the past, that you have to be the type of person that enjoys being on their own to be okay with living on your own. I don't really think about it, so I don't know what I do to be able to be happy living on my own. I just do it. I feel like I'm always busy, so I'm always either working or meeting up with friends or spending time with family or getting stuff done in the house, whether I'm filming or editing or cooking or watching movies or doing little pamper sessions and things like that. I don't ever really have time to think of being on my own. I actually just enjoy my own company, and I've always been like that. Even when I was in college, when I was in college or university, I went to UCD in Dublin. I lived on campus for 2 years, and our apartment had 6 people living in it, so myself plus 5 others, but we all had our own bedrooms and bathrooms and then shared like a common area, so a sitting room and a kitchen. But I really enjoyed having my own space and somewhere that I could go to on my own, and I kind of been like that even when I lived at my parents' house. Like I liked having my bedroom as my place and to be able to go to kind of like disconnect and things like that. So I feel like you have to be the type of person to live on your own, if that makes any sense. And then the other aspect of living on your own is budgeting, I suppose. I get asked about that quite often, and it's just finding a groove. I'm not perfect at it by any means, and I know you guys ask me to kind of share how I budget. I'm still working on that, you guys. I think it's a process, and most people will say that. You kind of start to find your groove eventually and figure out what you need to put money aside for, what you can afford, sort your bills out. I personally always kind of like pay bills first, and then whatever I can do after that I can do, but that's kind of how I budget for living on my own. Miss Claire Bear asked, would you do a master's degree? Oh, that's a good question. So I was going to do a master's degree before I actually went into makeup. I kind of chatted about this in my last tea talk, so I'm going to link that up here if you haven't watched that before. I kind of talk about how I got into makeup artistry, but basically I was taking a year out and I was going to go back to do do my master's and I was going to go back and do it in history. I just love history. I find it so interesting, so fascinating. I'm a bit of a bookworm, always have been. I really enjoyed the whole academic aspect of college. I enjoyed going to lectures. I enjoyed learning new things. I enjoyed not so much exams. I wasn't a fan of exams, but assignments and things like that I was a fan of. So in the future, I would never rule that out as something that I would just be interested in doing. I've always been interested in going back and doing that when I have a little bit more time, maybe when I've found some like footing with like life in general. But yeah, I definitely would be interested in going back and doing that, or even doing like a language course. One thing that I've always said like over the last God knows how many years is that I would be interested in going back and brushing up on my French, because I loved French in school and I kind of regret not doing it when I was in college. I studied English and history when I was in college, so I think I'd like to maybe brush up on my French, which I can do online realistically if I wanted to. And if I was to do a master's, I would probably do it in history. Let me know if any of you guys have actually gone back to college like later on in life and studied anything. I would be super interested in finding out about that, because a couple of people when I was in university were mature students doing the courses, like my English and history courses. Shannon_Laura K asked, what inspired you to try more / new recipes? This is an interesting one because I'm not really sure what kind of spurred me on over the last like month or two to really get into cooking. If you haven't noticed, I have been like on a cooking spree recently. I've just really enjoyed spending time in the kitchen. I just think I wanted to switch up what I was eating. I was kind of just getting into a rut with my breakfasts, and you guys had pointed it out to me that you were like, you literally eat eggs every single day, and I was like, I know, but I like them. And I think because I had seen that so often, it kind of forced me to try out new things, and I didn't want to keep sharing what I eat in a days or recipe videos because I literally was eating the same thing. So I suppose you guys kind of spurred me on to an extent, but also I just have always really enjoyed food and cooking and eating out and eating different things and trying new things literally since I was really young. My parents have kind of always instilled that in myself and my brother. We've always kind of been a little bit adventurous with our food and always wanted to try out new things. We were literally those kids when we were younger that watched cooking programs. Anthony Bourdain, Guy Fieri, Jamie Oliver, obviously. Always love Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares. That's a newer one obviously, but I always enjoy a bit of Gordon Ramsay. Oh, and MasterChef too. I was hooked on MasterChef, the US version, when I was in college. Literally could not stop watching it, loved it. But yeah, sorry, anyway, what inspired me? I just think I was stuck in a rut and I wanted to try out new things, and I have found a love for actually just taking time out and being in my kitchen. It's like a pastime for me now. Do you know the way some people enjoy sports as a pastime? I actually love on a Sunday or on an afternoon when I haven't got much to do, just going into the kitchen and like trying a new recipe or cooking something different. And I get a lot of inspiration from Pinterest, from Instagram, from cookbooks, but that's kind of what inspired me, you guys, and just trying to get out of a rut. Miguel Saul 372 asked, when are you going back to Disney World? I don't know. I really want to go back. I literally think about this on the daily. I would love to go back again for autumn or winter possibly, not so much maybe like January time, which was a nice time to go this year. I really enjoyed it, being able to get away from the kind of dreary time of the year in Ireland, I suppose. But I'd love to go back at Halloween or Christmas and do like the Christmas party or the Halloween party, and then maybe tie in a little bit of like Universal while I'm there too. So that's the plan. If any of you guys are going, let me know down in the comments your countdowns, like how long is it until your next trip? I would love to know, and I can just live vicariously through you. Kelly Quilliam on Instagram asked, what is your favorite thing about Dublin? I think my two favorite things about Dublin are, one, the fact that everything is kind of at your fingertips, that it's just so easy to get everywhere, and you've got like much easier public transport to kind of get around if you need to. And then obviously the huge array and variety of restaurants and foods and cool cocktail bars and tapas bars, and also just like extracurricular things to do. Like there's really cool movie theaters and just experiences. Dublin's a great city, so that's probably the thing that I miss most about living there. I know so many of you think that I live in Dublin, but I don't live in Dublin. I live about an hour and 15 minutes north of Dublin, but that's probably the thing that I miss most about it, is just having so many things at your fingertips. Haley's Bells 87 possibly said, if you could teach / tell your 16-year-old self something, what would it be? I feel like that was a really nice time of my life. I really enjoyed like when I was like 16, 17. That was like, it was a fun time. I always say I would never actually go back to school. I could do college again, but I couldn't do school again. But I actually quite enjoyed those 2 years at school. But looking back as to how my life's gone since that, I think I would just tell myself to trust the timing of my life. Everything is going to happen as it's supposed to happen, and not to kind of like freak out or get anxious over silly things or work yourself up over decisions that have to be made, or choices that you feel like you have to make, even when that comes to college or friendships or relationships and things like that, that everything's going to pan out the way that it's supposed to. And listen to your gut, and also listen to your parents. Jodie Smith 365 asked, who is your favorite Disney princess? My favorite Disney princess always has been Aurora or Sleeping Beauty. I just love that movie. As a classic Disney princess, I've always loved her, but like the more current ones, I absolutely love Anna from Frozen. I love Rapunzel from Tangled, and I quite like Tiana from Princess and the Frog. I like the sassy characters. Stephanie So, I never really know if these are your actual names or if it's just your Instagram handles, but Stephanie So asked, do you ever struggle to stay productive? If so, how are some ways you get out of a rut? Yes, 110% I struggle to stay productive sometimes. There are days where I just kind of have to give up and just be like, nope, well, it's not happening today, and I have to resort my schedule, rearrange things so that I can get whatever I was supposed to get done in that specific day done on different days, because I personally feel like if I'm in a mood where I know I'm not going to get stuff done, or that I'm just feeling really blah, I'm not going to get things done to the best of my ability. So it's nearly better for me to just kind of take a second, move on, do something else, and then come back to it. Like yesterday, for example, I really needed to get something done like work-wise yesterday morning. It wasn't time sensitive, luckily. If it's time sensitive, I just gotta push myself to do it. But if it's not time sensitive, then I can just walk away from it for a second. So I left the house, I went for a walk, I had my breakfast, and I basically told myself that I wasn't gonna have to do it until the following day. And then later on that afternoon, just after lunchtime, I came home and I actually ended up just doing the job that I was going to do that morning. So I feel like removing yourself from the situation and then going at it again with a different mindset can totally help with your productivity. It's a Fry Thing, what a cool name, asked, what adventures are you looking forward to this fall? Oh, this makes me so excited. I can't believe that it's almost autumn. This is just crazy. Autumn is just like one of my favorite times of the year. As much as I love winter, it's more so Christmas. The whole autumn period I get very excited about. I just love when the weather starts to cool down just a little bit. We have a really nice autumn here in Ireland. Generally it's quite dry and quite mild, but a little bit cooler. The nights get a little bit darker. Like right now in the summertime, it's bright till like 10 o'clock at night, so the evenings get a little bit darker a little bit earlier, which is really nice. So you can cozy up, watch movies, drink tea. Autumn baking makes me so happy and so excited. Just like making cupcakes and cookies and all that kind of good stuff, and just cooking up big hearty meals at home. Halloween, the whole build up to Halloween, I love. My birthday is in November, and then any kind of autumnal activities that you can do. I feel like in Ireland we have started embracing those a little bit more, like going and doing pumpkin patches, and I haven't personally done one of those like scary house things. What are they called? Why am I blanking on the word for this? Oh my god, I feel really stupid now. Haunted houses, that's what they're called. I haven't gone and done one, but I feel like it's a cool thing to go and do with your friends, and then dressing up for Halloween parties and all that kind of good stuff. Maggie Mitchell asked, Maggie, you asked the best questions because I recognize your name from YouTube as well. But Maggie Mitchell asked, what is one lesson in life that you have learned in the past year? So I actually learned this really early on in the year, like back in January, and it's really stuck with me, and I feel like I have really stayed true to this one, and it is to make sure that you are doing things for you. Do not change your plans based on somebody else. So whether that is your parents, whether that's your other half, whether that's your friends, don't be influenced by other people to change what your plans are. Obviously, like if it's something that does need to change, look for advice from other people. But if you have goals and you have ambitions and you have things that you want to achieve in life, do them, and don't be afraid what other people are going to think of you for doing those. Because I definitely think I went through a period at the start of this year where I was feeling really self-conscious about different things, whether that was YouTube or Instagram and putting things out there and just being myself. I definitely went through a phase where I was just being really self-conscious and very critical of what I was putting out there. And basically I feel like something will always happen to make something click with you, and I just realized I'm living life for me. I've said this so many times. You're living life for yourself, so you have to be happy with what you're doing first and foremost. So if you have something that you want to achieve, you have a goal that you want to see through, you have a job that you want to get, you have a piece of clothing that you want to wear, you want to change your hair, you want to do something for your body, you want to work out more, you want to work out less, you want to eat something, I don't know, you want to get a dog, do it, and don't be afraid what other people are going to think. That is why I preach that so much to you guys, that it's so important that you do that too, because I wouldn't be doing like sitting here in front of you right now if I didn't listen to my own advice. I just think that not even just these days, this is something that like I probably went through when I was in college and school as well. You kind of start getting a little bit or feeling a little bit of pressure from outside sources, obviously more so people that you know, sometimes people that you don't know. You kind of start second guessing what you're doing or trying to mold yourself to fit an ideal that other people have, and sometimes you're just trying to be cool or you're trying to impress people. It's literally, everybody feels this way at some stage. I hope this is making sense, but sometimes when you do that and you're trying to impress other people or you're trying to please other people or just fit the norm or whatever, it'll all come back to you in the end in one way, shape or form to just tell you to stay true to yourself, because I feel like when you're doing you, you're at your happiest. I personally am anyway. So yeah, that's definitely one thing that I have learned this year, or the biggest thing that I have learned this year, is to live your damn life for your damn self. Laura Peterson 0221 asked, have you checked off your summer goals / what goals do you have for fall? Do you know what? I actually think that I did, and I don't think I actually had any specific goals until I completed them. That makes no sense, but I don't think I had anything set in stone that I needed to achieve for the summertime. But one thing that I have achieved, and I'm very proud of myself, is being a little bit more organized and productive with my time, because I feel like when I'm not organized, I let things get on top of me and I get stressed out so easily. Like, I am a big stress head, you guys, and I know that you don't see that ever because you guys always think that I'm like super chill and I have everything under control. By no means do I have everything under control, and I stress out very easily. So I really wanted to get on top of myself with work and schedules and staying organized, and also being flexible with schedules and knowing when it was okay to change your schedules and what you needed to do. So over the summertime, I have figured out something that works for me. It's working really well. Basically, you know, just being productive with your time, and I feel like I'm getting so much more done, and also having time to not work too, you know, like to spend time with friends and to go out for food and not feel guilty that I'm not doing something, because sometimes I fall into that trap of feeling guilty that I'm not being productive enough. So I feel like because I have found a balance now, I'm much more happy across the board in work life and in life. I feel like I've just kind of found my groove, and I'm really happy with that. So I suppose I could check that off my summer goals. And goals for autumn. Oh yes, one goal for autumn that I actually would really like to keep up, because I know it can get a little bit more difficult in the autumn time, is getting up early. So I know obviously right now every day I get up at 6:30 in the morning, and I find that really, really helpful for days when I have super early starts that might start a little bit earlier than that. So I find that that's a good time for me to get up. I get so much done in the morning. I'm super productive. In the autumn, that's harder to do because it's darker outside. So that's a goal of mine, to keep that up. Maybe one more thing as well. I kind of mentioned this on Instagram recently, but to always remember that you choose the state that you're in. If I'm having like a little bit of a slump in my day, remember that that's just like what's happening right now, and you don't have to stay in that slump. You're choosing to stay in that slump. Like, nobody's telling you that you have to stay like that. You can choose to change your thoughts and what you're thinking and how you want to feel. You can change your state. I think that's what Tony Robbins says. You change your state and everything's better. But it's really true. Like, life is not happening to you, it's happening for you, and you're choosing how to react to the things that are happening. So if you're having a bit of a crappy day, or if you're feeling a little bit stressed out, just take a second and be like, I don't have to feel like this. Let's change how we're feeling. Okay, let's quickly jump over to YouTube and get through some of these. What do you usually do when you get stressed or feel depressed? The reason why I ask is that you always look happy. Thank you so much. I really do try to be as happy as I can, because as I was saying, it just kind of like affects your overall life and your overall day and how things go throughout the day. Life is too short not to be happy, but I definitely do get stressed and I definitely do feel kind of down and out some days. And kind of going on what I had mentioned earlier on, I sometimes just have to let myself sit in it for a little bit and work myself out of it. Some days I'm like, no, Grace, you don't have to feel like this anymore. So it kind of just depends. Do the things that you enjoy, things that make you happy. I go out for tea, I meet my friends, watch a good movie, I do my makeup. Sometimes that makes me feel so much better when I put on a full face of makeup and I get dressed and I have a shower and freshen myself up and blow dry my hair. And also staying organized makes me less stressed out too. C Ma asked, you have such a great sense of style. At what age did you feel like you truly came into your sense of style? This is a really interesting one actually, because I feel like I've really only come into my own style in the last 3 years, maybe even 2 years. When I was in college, I was still very much dressing to trends. But I feel like really over the last 1.5 to 2 years, I've started kind of playing around with my style a little bit more. I think that's kind of come through just following fun accounts on Instagram and Pinterest and things like that. Also not really caring about what other people think, because I feel like a lot of people dress a certain way because they feel like they should. I just wear what I want to wear. If I want to dress up and wear a dress and heels during the day, I'll do that. So I think like not caring about what other people think really helps too. So I feel like all of that has kind of molded me into coming into my own sense of style. So definitely, what, I'm 26 now, so 24 maybe. Kieran Raffi asked, any plans for Christmas and for your birthday? Love watching you. Thank you so much. I actually have no plans for my birthday at the minute, which is shocking. What did I do for my birthday last year? Oh, part of my birthday trip last year was actually going over to Disneyland Paris, but I don't have any plans to go to Disneyland Paris this year. So no plans for my birthday as of yet. 27. It's gonna be a good one. I feel like my birthday is always fun anyway. It's a nice time of the year. And then plans for Christmas, I'm going over to New York at the back. Well, this is kind of my birthday / Christmas plans, I suppose you could say. So I'm going over to New York at the back end of November and into the start of December again. I'm so excited. I can't wait. We're actually going over Thanksgiving weekend, which is probably going to be crazy, but I'm super excited about it. I absolutely loved New York at Christmas time last year, and I am so excited just to get into the festive season. That's Mrs. Smith to you. I love your username. That's amazing. Asked, do you wear all of your clothes years after buying them, or do you get rid of them regularly to stay trendy? That is a really good question. So no, I don't get rid of my clothes that often. You'll have seen, if you watch any of my what I wore in a week videos, or just when I run through some of my outfits, things that I have had for years I am still wearing. A jumpsuit that I showed in my my last favorites video, actually I showed it in, that kind of green boiler suit utility style jumpsuit. I've had that since I was in first year in college, which was in 2011. So I've had that for 8 years and it's still perfect. So unless the item of clothing is like completely unwearable or it doesn't fit me anymore, I hold on to it because I possibly might get more wear out of it. I think sometimes when people see me like shopping and things like that, they think that I have way more clothes than I actually do and that I don't wear half of it. But you also have to remember that you change sizes as the years go on, especially like me. I'm 27, so in the last 10 years, I was 17. I'm a completely different body shape and size to what I was when I was 17. So in the last 10 years and even in the last last 2 years, my sizes have completely changed. So I have lots of kind of like newer bits that I've added to my wardrobe, but I definitely do, as much as I possibly can, try to hold on to clothing that I have had. Tracy K asked, do you ever get tired or even upset when people always ask you about your love life? That is a really good question. Some of these are really good. No, I don't really. I don't really mind when you guys ask me about my love life. I think that's probably more so though because there's just nothing exciting happening in it, unfortunately. Well, not unfortunately, but like unfortunately that I have nothing fun to report. There is no exciting developments in my love life. I'm just here doing me. If somebody wants to ride on in their shining armor and be like, hey Grace, want some tea? Want to come to Disney with me? Want to do some traveling? Want to go out and eat some good food and have a jolly old time at Christmas and be festive over Halloween? When that person comes along, I will be happy out. But until then, I'm waiting for my Prince Charming. I am going to wrap up tea talk for this month right here. It was just a really nice chatty one where I got to answer any of your guys' questions that you had. I tried to get through as many as possible this month because there were a lot of, as I said, random kind of topics and different things to talk about. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed having a little chit chat with me this month, and remember to sound off down in the comments because I love chatting to you guys down in the comments of this particular type of video. Actually, I just find these are so chatty in these videos. So let me know, do any of you guys live on your own? What are your travel plans for this year? What is the most important lesson that you have learned? Actually, I would love to know that. So let me know, what is the most important lesson that you guys have learned this year? I feel like that one would be an interesting topic to talk about in the comments. I have made it through half of my tea during this tea talk, so I feel like that's kind of a little bit better than most of them. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and click subscribe if you're not already subscribed but you want to see some more videos and join the fam bam, the tea talk fam. I'd love to have you all back again, and I will see you all again very, very soon with another video. Bye!